words about books, Ben. And do you know what we're doing today for our 6th season?
I do, but you don't.
We're doing an episode of the podcast. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the schedule was Hunger Games, but
Hunger
something-
Games 2.
Yeah, Hunger Games 2,
Catching Fire.
Hungry for Justice.
Hungrier. Too Hungry, Too Furious.
I'm hastily trying to finish my wrap.
Yeah, I see that. That's why I'm covering for you, Ben.
Okay, cover one more bite.
All right. Hungry Harder?
Was good. Was good.
Yeah. I hear this time, instead of a Taco Bell at the cornucopia, it's going to be a Chipotle.
That. Trying to decide if that's better or worse, because there's something kind of wholesome about a Taco Bell and something kind of not wholesome about a Chipotle. I haven't been to Chipotle in a while. I've done Nito Burrito.
Wow, look at you. You have options. We had a Qdoba for like 6 months. It did not last very long.
Qdoba's not that good, though.
I never went, which is probably why it died. Single-handedly, I could have kept that in business. It opened up down the street from the Chipotle, too. So
Bold move.
yeah.
Bold move. Do you guys have Moe's?
No.
Well, okay.
I think I went to Nito Burrito with you.
Oh, yeah, you did. Cowboy Crunch.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So there is a patron. His name is Kevin.
Oh, no.
He's not one of the $10 patrons, so we never shout him out. So technically this is illegal. But I'm doing this one under the radar for Kevin. So Kevin's been telling me for a long time on 2 different Discords that I should read.
He won't leave you alone.
No, he's a good guy. How dare he support me across multiple podcasts?
he's I know he's a good guy because he gives us money. That's
right. That's the definition. So Kevin has been trying to sell me on this web novel called Beware of Chicken.
Oh, no.
By CasualFarmer.
First name Casual, last name Farmer?
No, actually, it's all one word.
Oh, no.
So I was, you know, you're hearing what I'm hearing. So like, I'm like, oh, it's this, this isekai stuff. I looked into it a little bit. The title Beware of Chicken did not catch my eye at all. It was a Xian Xia themed isekai slice of life web novel.
Oh my god, what in the fuck are you even saying?
This is why I didn't recommend you read it, because there are a few things I think it helps to know going into it. Now I know what all these words mean.
Yeah, it's Zinzaya, as
So
it's
I'm
pronounced in my native language of Midwestern.
I'm not great at Chinese, as that will come out throughout this, but it's Xian space Xia.
Yeah.
Xian Xia.
Zinzaya.
Yeah. So, now here's the thing. Web novels are an interesting, relatively new phenomenon. I mean, I guess I'm dating myself there.
Are they books, Ben?
I'm going to say yes.
Just like you said, your hamburger wrap was a sandwich.
I did say my hamburger wrap was a sandwich. Much in the same way that my hamburger wrap is a sandwich, a web novel is a book.
Okay. All right.
I think both of those statements are equally true. Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm burying a lead here. So I'm going to continue to introduce this for a minute, and then I'm going to tell you why I think you, Nate, should care.
Oh, no. Did this novel single-handedly end the North American wrestling scene for like 19 years?
No.
Did this get booed out of the building at a recent live event? And
the novel is not Hulk Hogan. I don't know. That's not the lead I'm burying. Hulk Hogan is not CasualFarmer.
Okay. Can you fucking imagine?
No, this guy's actually pretty wholesome.
That's good.
So these web novels, if anybody doesn't know, because it's an interesting thing, and I was kind of talking to Kevin about this, is the scene is huge. There are a ton of people reading these web novels. They're huge on Kindle Unlimited. They're usually like isekai, lit RPG, progression fantasy type stuff. There's a website called Royal Road, where a lot of people publish web novels. I would say the scene is even bigger in Asia. A lot of like the webtoons we read on That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime podcast, those are based on web novels. So it's actually an interesting way for an indie writer, a young writer who wants to go like a self-publishing route. It's an interesting way to build an audience. You can publish it a chapter at a time. They have ranking systems. People can comment, talk about it. And it seems like what CasualFarmer is doing is he puts out these chapters on Royal Road. When he has enough to compile into a volume of his series, he takes them off Royal Road, puts them up as books, I think through Kindle Direct Publishing, I think. I actually listened to an audiobook. The audiobook was narrated by Travis Baldry of Legends and Lattes fame. So yeah, so this kind of really ties into Words About Books. Now I'm going to tell you why you, Nate, should care.
Okay.
CasualFarmer, don't know much about him. He's a mysterious man. He knows about farming. He is Canadian.
He is casual, so his name checks out.
Yeah. And I apologize to Canada in advance. I really don't think you're going to have to become a state.
Yeah, don't apologize to Canada. They knew what they were getting into when we voted him into office.
Yeah, they knew what they were getting into. Yeah. But CasualFarmer, I ran the numbers. He is making somewhere between $8,000 and $85,000 a month on Patreon.
8 and 85?
If all of his subscribers were at the lowest tier, he's making about 8,000. If all of them were at the highest tier, he's making 85,000. I don't know what tier they're at. So he's making somewhere between those two numbers. But even the low number, not too bad.
That's going to be us, right? That's going to be us this year, right?
This is why I thought you might care.
we're gonna do that. Is that what you're saying? We're gonna.
No, I will say I think at one point in time, I don't know if it still is, Beware of Chicken and CasualFarmer was the most subscribed or like the most revenue generating on Patreon of all the web serials out there. There's another big one called The Wandering Inn. There's a couple more. But people make money on this. People make a living on this. And I would actually go so far as to say, in researching this, have kind of wandered into, now these are people who I could talk to, but I've talked to people who are traditionally published. I've talked to people who go this web serial, Patreon, Amazon route. And the ones who seem to be doing a pretty good job of making a living of it are actually going on the web serial route. And I don't have the numbers on that, and I'm not going to say that it's necessarily like the right way to go if you're a young aspiring author and you want to make a career of it. But it's interesting that so many people are able to do that. And there is an element of luck. It's the same thing. But, they own their work. They are entirely in charge of the proceeds. Now, the flip side of that is you got to do all the marketing and stuff. But traditional publishing doesn't do a lot of marketing and editing and all that stuff for you anyway, unless you're like Stephen King or Sarah J. Maas. I don't know. They don't invest a ton in you. And I think this is an interesting business model that I've been looking.
Will allow us to publish Eden Burst Volume 3000 or whatever.
We could, if you want to. We could be the oldest people on Royal Road, I think.
Perfect.
I don't know.
Now all I
Travis Baldry's
need
pretty old.
is
If he's
talent.
involved in this, yeah. And all you need is talent. Now I'm gonna tell you though, like a lot of this stuff is like anime adjacent. Like I said, there's a lot of isekai. There's a lot of
So we need more fight scenes, not less, is what you're telling me.
I don't know. I don't know if CasualFarmer has proven that.
Well, I assume that the titular chicken is a kung fu master.
You would assume correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind as I'm describing this. Is like this is an interesting business model. Now I came to it from a very traditional way of I consume the audiobook. I'll tell you, this was my first 5-star review of 2025.
Oh my god, you're already starting off strong.
Yep.
Oh my god, there's your review.
Hunger Games has a lot of work to do to catch up to CasualFarmer. I bet CasualFarmer could solve the hunger problem.
Yeah, I mean, you'd eat that chicken, right?
Oh, you don't eat that chicken.
Yeah, it sounds like that chicken would kick the shit out of you.
Yeah, you don't eat that chicken. You eat some chickens. So let's start with what you don't know. You know what an isekai is.
Yeah, that time I got reincarnated in the same world as a chicken.
He's not
an aggressive chicken.
That's what I was worried about.
Oh no, you didn't want that?
No, that's why.
Okay.
If this had been an isekai about a man being reborn as a kung fu chicken, I was getting off the train. You would not be
giving that a 5-star, is what you're saying.
It would have some work to do to get up to a 5-star.
Covers over here. They look like what's his nuts? The guy. He wrote the immunology thing. He has a bunch of YouTube videos. What's his name? Clay. God damn.
I can't help you here.
Hold on. Kurzgads.
Oh, Kurzgesagt.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at readers also enjoyed, and there's I'm looking at a different book series. That's probably my.
Yeah, I was gonna say his covers don't look like Kurzgesagt.
Yeah, but those do. I'm sending those to you.
Okay, well that's gonna be confusing for the people.
Good.
In an audio medium,
the covers should be.
The confusing. Covers look like your typical anime.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Heretical Fishing is the one you're talking about.
Yeah. I didn't want to give them a shout out though, because have they subscribed to my Patreon? No. All right.
First off, what's an isekai? So an isekai,
everything apparently.
According everything. If you ask Isekai Sensei-sama, it is everything. It is water to a fish. You are asking the wrong question. But for most people, an isekai is another world kind of fantasy. That's what it literally means, another world in Japanese. Typically with a lot of these, a person dies and finds themselves reborn in another world, or
as
sometimes
an anime podcaster, or a slime, or
a spider,
or they get transported to the internet video game.
That's one.
And then like all the NPCs are like, "Oh, master, I want to."
Yeah, that's.
And it's like, this is
so that's
a bit much.
That's called a harem isekai. So they're not all.
Oh,
harems.
Okay. So there's like subgenres.
Oh my sweet Christ! Are there subgenres of isekai?
Well,
yes.
I haven't listened to your other podcaster because you haven't paid me to do so. So
yes, yes. Oh my sweet summer child. Yes, there are subgenres of isekai. The podcast I do, heroin addiction, spelled like the female protagonist.
No, don't explain it. You're just addicted to heroin.
Yeah. It's otome isekai, which is like a lot. It's a lot of these like Regency fantasies, like the Jane Austen type stuff, where somebody gets isekai'd into a romance novel or isekai'd into a.
Is there one where you get isekai'd and you do a capitalism? but
Yeah,
you
well, because most of them
capitalism
are
harder.
Korean. Most of them are
Ah,
Korean, so yeah, almost all of those ladies start a business. It turns into some kind of weird zaibatsu, and then
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's the kind of world I wouldn't actually want to be transported to. Actually, now that I
No,
think
you would
about
if
it
you were
that
in
way, but
charge,
I mean, I'm a businessman.
are you? Yeah, you are, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
So there, one of the things in isekai that's big is like you can be born into another world. You could take over somebody's body. Like you could take over
Oh
the
no.
the body of a character in that world.
Oh, so they
And
didn't have a soul to begin with. Okay.
in uh Beware of Chicken, I believe he had a soul. He definitely had a soul, actually. The
Wow.
guy who took over.
Oh boy.
Um
Was he at least dead before he took him over, or?
I want to say yes. I'm like part of the way through volume 2, and I won't get into spoilers, but now I'm wondering if he's actually dead.
Oh my God. Is he going to be like Peter Parker that one time that
With
Doc
Dr.
Ock
Octopus? Yeah,
took over
it's a
Peter's
little like that. It's a
body?
little like that. Where he sees him and he's talking to him sometimes. Yeah, it's a little like that. The superior Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a solid,
That was a good run.
solid run that we talked about on this podcast. Go listen to it.
I forgot we did
Yeah.
that. That's Isekai. Xian Xia
Okay.
or Xian Xia. I don't Xian Xia. I don't know how to say it.
It's Shin-Chan.
It's not. It's the Chinese like age of martial artists. Like every time you see one of those like Chinese themed like fairy tale things where like people have chi and there's like great heroes and they go around and they battle each other and all that stuff. Um, I would say it's like maybe like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. There's been a bunch of movies here and there that people might sort of recognize elements of that from. Um, it's also a cultivator thing, and
Yeah.
there's a little joke there that he's a cultivator who cultivates farmland. But a cultivator is somebody who basically cultivates chi. They
Yeah.
train, they meditate, they try to become more powerful to ascend like Taoist planes of existence and become immortal and become a god and like very like Wukong type stuff. You could argue that Dragon Ball Z or something like that
Yeah.
is.
Wukong. Great hero from League of Legends.
Oh, that hurt me. Uh, that is not where I want you to know that from. So, Beware of Chicken takes place in a Xia. Oh God, this is going to be so bad. If you speak Chinese, I'm sorry. It takes place in one of these martial arts settings, and there's some tropes about these settings. There are a lot of Chinese web novels, a lot of Chinese comics set in this land. There's certain tropes like they have alchemists kind of who can make these pills that can increase your chi. That's a thing. There's
Yeah.
spirit beasts, which are
I
animals that
also
have
take
chi.
pills that increase my chi.
What color are they?
They're blue, Ben.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
So he's born into this world. And we find out as time goes on, he's a Canadian guy, doesn't know anything about fighting. Fortunately, his body does a little bit.
Sorry, I just registered. He's a Canadian guy.
Yeah, he's a Canadian guy born into this world.
Okay, you got me.
Yeah. So he winds up in this world. He's takes over the body of a guy who is in I think it's the cloudy sword sect or something. He's in one of these like Shaolin temple kind of places where he's learning their ways and he's trying to ascend the ranks, but he takes over the body of a guy who just got kicked so hard he got kicked out of his body, basically.
Oh. So
Yeah,
he
so
might not be dead. He might just be spiritually separated from his body in a way that somehow doesn't kill him.
Yeah, not unlike Peter Parker in the Superior Spider-Man. So he takes over his body. We don't actually know the guy's name from when he was Canadian. His new name is Jin. And Jin then starts acting weird because he's now a magic Canadian man. And Kevin's going to love this, by the way. He's loving the way I'm telling this story.
Magic Canadian man.
He's a magic Canadian man. And he...
Is Kevin a magic Canadian man too, Ben? Is that what you're trying to get at? To
me.
You?
Yeah.
Obviously, 51st state, you know?
No, please. So Jin, cultivator. Jin. He's a cultivator.
Which was his name before he died as well.
No.
That's fact.
No, his name
named
before...
after his parents named him after Qui-Gon.
So. I'm going to assume his name before he died was Letterkenny. It's the only Canadian show I know.
I'm like, is that even a real?
I don't think that's anybody's name. But so Letterkenny was reincarnated as Jin. And
sounds like a step up.
Kids in the Hall is another Canadian show I know.
The younger brother from South Park.
Yeah. So he gets in this cultivator world and he's like, well, this is a life of constant back and face breaking training, deep meditation, pill popping, and endless combat. I'm out.
You've chosen wisely. You might just live another day.
He immediately quits the sect. And
you can do that?
There is a procedure he discovers that nobody has ever used before, or like hasn't used for like 300 years. Most people just disappear in the night if they want to quit.
It's called saying, fuck this, I'm out.
You have to pay a fee.
Oh.
Yeah. So he pays a fee. He pays the quitter's fee. He breaks his gym contract.
And he breaks his gym contract.
And
okay.
He finds the place in the world or in the empire that has absolutely no chi. There's this province that there's no chi there. Cultivators never go there. It's all almost entirely normal people.
I'm suspicious immediately, Ben.
So he wants to go there. And he's just going to start a farm, live a peaceful life. It's going to be
Stardew Valley.
He's going to Stardew Valley this. And he goes there. Now, he is a cultivator in a world of non-cultivators. So that makes him kind of a Superman. He has some superpowers. Like he has super strength, super endurance. Like basically, think Dragon Ball Z. Like anything you could do with chi in Dragon Ball Z.
Does he fire Kamehamehas?
Not yet.
Oh, but maybe.
The chicken has energy blades.
Okay. I feel like let's get to the part of the story where there's a chicken with energy blades. It sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, he goes. He travels to this place. He picks up some chickens to start his farm. Gets some seeds and all that stuff. He goes out to this plot of land in the middle of the woods, clears some of it with his chi powers, and starts building a farm. And he's got some of these spirit herbs he brought from the temple. Like they are supposed to increase chi. He's using them as seasoning primarily because he doesn't have anything to season his food, and they taste all right. So he also, for his crops, he infuses them with a little bit of chi. He's kind of like instinctively like, I'm going to put enough chi in to like nourish the crop, but not force it to grow, because he knows from reading all the cultivator novels and back when he was Canadian that you can't, if you force things to grow, it turns out bad. Like you don't want to like poison the land. You want to work with the land. And he has this sort of mantra, like you give to the land gives back. So he's trying to live in symbiosis with the land. You know, he offers chi like an offering, and it works. The crops grow well. He's got the spirit herbs. He feeds spirit herbs to the animals as well. And wouldn't you know it, like after a little bit of time, the chicken starts to develop what the chicken calls the spark, which is
The chicken calls it that?
the chicken calls it that.
Does this chicken start talking?
No, but there are many chapters from the chicken's perspective.
Okay.
So, the chicken starts out as a chicken, and then it slowly starts to develop sentience, and it starts to develop chi. And as it first starts to awaken, it's very. By the way, the chicken is named Big D. He's a rooster.
Okay.
Jin thought that was funny. The chicken, though, is a Chinese rooster, so he has trouble saying Big D. So he thinks his name is Biddy. And that's going to be a theme with a lot of the animal names. Spoilers. No, not Didi. There's going to be a lot of animals. One of them is Chunky, a pig, and they pronounce his name as Chunky. And that goes on. There's a lot of that. So one of the things the rooster is supposed to do is he watches over the hens, and foxes start coming in. A fox comes in and he crows, and
he whips it out.
The master comes out
as a club. Oh,
the master comes out, chases off the foxes, and he's eternally impressed with the master. But then one day there's this one fox that the master doesn't kill, and he doesn't understand why.
Wait, does he kill the other ones?
No, he just chases the fox off, but he doesn't kill it. And the rooster doesn't understand why he doesn't kill it. And that's when the rooster starts thinking, maybe he wants me to kill it. Maybe this is a test for me.
Maybe I'll kill it and then I'll drag it in like I'm a cat who just hunted this loaf of bread.
That's right. Except for the loaf of bread part. That was weird.
My cats aren't very impressive.
So he starts training.
Oh, God. All right.
He starts doing forms. We occasionally get a chapter from Jin's perspective where he walks past his chicken and he's pretty sure the chicken is doing some kind of kick drill. And he's like, I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm hoping that's just Xian Xia nonsense. And he just goes about his day. But the chicken is like full on like hyperbolic time chamber. He is getting it done.
He is actually cultivating in this cultivation.
Yes, actually. The chicken actually does the cultivator stuff. And he goes through these things where like the master, one of the things is they're going to have to, he has to go back to the village for supplies soon. And the chicken
Wait, I thought this region didn't have chi.
It doesn't. So this is the interesting thing. They do address this.
Okay.
The chi is within you most of the time. It's not necessarily like a mana thing. Like if you have chi, you have chi. But if you're around a place with more chi, maybe sometimes you can take that in and make it part of your own. And that's why cultivators would prefer places with a lot of chi. Like it's kind of think like the spice from Dune. Like the spice is in everything here.
Like, but if you huff this spice in my hand, you'll see some crazy shit, bro. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So the master Jin is going to have to go back to the village for supplies. Big D knows this. And he's like, I got to kill this fox so that the master knows we'll be safe. Now, in Jin's mind, he's like, yeah, I'll probably have to take the chickens with me because we've been having this fox problem. But Bidi doesn't know that. So he's training. And he winds up eventually having an epic martial arts fight with the fox.
The fox also knows martial arts?
The fox also has the spark.
Oh.
He doesn't quite know martial arts yet, but they fight.
Yet?
And
Oh God, is this
Badi,
his Vegeta?
no, the fox,
Oh.
he kills this fucking fox.
Okay, this is more like Nappa then.
Yeah, this is a Nappa. This is a Raditz situation.
Ooh.
Uh,
Ouch. Poor
um,
fox.
so yeah, the rooster is getting his ass kicked. You know, he's just getting beaten up, getting thrown against trees, clawed, wings broken. And he looks up at the moon. I
Oh
think it's
my
a,
God, is he gonna become a great
no,
ape?
no, he doesn't become a great ape. It's like a crescent moon. And
Oh.
he has like a realization, and he invokes a new martial arts technique. And it's like he like draws on the inspiration of the moon and creates these like lunar blades. You know how roosters have spurs that they fight with?
Yeah, they spur the shit out of you and then you need
Yeah.
antibiotics.
So his from his spurs, shining blades of pure moonlight.
My true mentor, my guiding moonlight.
And he cuts the fox's head off. And then at that point, Jin realizes his chicken has become a cultivator.
Damn it. Now I'm gonna have to move and start all over again.
You know, I will tell you there is a point where that starts to, that enters his mind. um, Now, the other thing that's kind of been happening in the background is Jin doesn't realize it, but he is also cultivating. He's not consciously meditating, but the way he works, he describes himself as sometimes like the work on the farm is super easy, but he also isn't sure how long he's been doing it. Like he just sort of enters a zone and gets huge chunks of farming done and building you know, the utility buildings he needs for the farm and stuff like that. Like the work seems to be his meditation, but he doesn't quite realize that yet, or he doesn't want to realize that yet. So he eventually goes back to the village for supplies, and Badi is left to watch over the farm, and he winds up playing with the village children. He's just a nice guy. He's just like this big kid. He's just a big dumb guy. And there's a girl there who can smell chi, and she knows that this guy is a cultivator, and that worries her because cultivators, as supermen in a world of normal men, sometimes tend to just be sociopaths. Almost always tend to just be sociopaths. Like if you were to, like her little brother just did, throw mud on a cultivator's crisp white uniform, they'd probably just kill you for that. But this guy just like jumps in the mud and starts playing around. And she doesn't quite get what his deal is. And then the children appeal to her for help.
Is she an adult? Is she the
she
love
is an
interest?
adult. She is the love interest. She's an adult. Yeah, I'm not going to go into like every little thing that happens because it does have that. I read it as a single book, but it does have that feel of a serial where it's like, this is the story of this chapter, then this is the story of this chapter, and there's an overarching plot. The volume of, or the plot of the first volume, I would say, is their relationship and his relationship then with the villagers and the normal people. A big challenge for him, and this is where I actually really started to like the book, and I thought this might wind up being a 5-star, is something I haven't seen a lot of isekai specifically address. I'm sure there have been others that address it, but there comes a point where Jin realizes he thinks he's the weakest cultivator because he was a very weak cultivator when he inherited this body.
Yeah, and the guy before him got kicked so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and he hasn't been specifically trying to become more powerful, but he has been becoming more powerful. The food he produces is filled with chi. the spirit herbs he's consuming are especially potent. And the work he's doing on the farm acts as meditation. He's really been doing intense cultivation this whole time while he's been doing cultivation. That's the joke. But he's actually become really strong, and he could kind of throw his weight around if he wanted to. And he kind of has a crisis at that point. Like, he doesn't want to be one of those sociopaths.
But he has the power, so I guess he has to. And sorry, guys.
He kind of becomes scared of himself because he likes these villagers. They've become his friends. He's basically dating.
Luckily, he had his old Uncle Ben around to tell him, Jin, my boy, with great power comes great responsibility, and also, I can't wait to retire in 2 days to go to your farm.
That's the problem. He doesn't have an Uncle Ben. So he's sitting there having this crisis of he's like, the only thing that has kept him on track so far is that he has been afraid. Like he's been kind of relying on his fear of consequences to guide his actions. And if he doesn't have that fear of consequence, will he become a terrible person?
I mean, probably.
So,
I mean,
his chi, as he's having this crisis of confidence, his chi starts to smell off to the girl. And she knows there's something up with him, but she doesn't quite know what. And eventually...
Does he know that she can smell that?
Yes.
Or she keeps that to herself?
He doesn't know that the smell has changed, but he does know that she can smell chi.
Smells like bitch, am I right?
Good one. That's some of that Hulk Hogan humor. You're going to get booed out of the Netflix stadium. They eventually have a talk. And this is kind of why I like this series. Because he has a talk with her, and he says that. He finally just says, like, I'm a god. I could do whatever I want. How am I going to stop myself? Like, what stops me from doing these terrible things?
And she's like, the government.
There is a government.
Have a hard laugh.
I mean, you know about ancient China's intense bureaucracy, right?
Depends on which China we're talking about.
I don't know the exact dynasty, but the Xian Xia stuff usually has the like civil service exams and like that kind of intense thing where there are like magistrates, and the magistrates had to, like, they're based on
useless crap like that. You should just be born into your position, just like all of our best.
Yeah. Don't fix what ain't broke. Nepotism. I mean, he looks like the old king. He'll probably be as good as the old king.
That checks out.
She tells him, it's pretty simple. If you know it's wrong, don't do it.
And that blows his fucking mind.
It kind of grounds him a little bit. And I think he realizes that, if he has, there still are consequences. Like, disappointing the people he is coming to care about is a consequence. And
just be like Ellen DeGeneres and don't care.
But he's not like Ellen DeGeneres. He's Canadian.
Yeah, so he'll be overly polite.
He is very polite.
And he'll let us pretend to be from his country when we travel abroad.
He does invent maple syrup.
Of course he does. Wait, how do you... Wait, are there maple trees in...
He discovers in this particular country there are sugar maples.
This particular country. Are we not in China?
We're not in... It's not literally China.
It's not like fantasy China.
It's like Middle Earth China. Like as Middle Earth is to Europe.
Okay, so
Xian Xia land is to China. There can be
some blue wizards out here, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there could be maple trees, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
He also gets more animals. He gets some pigs, which he names Chunky and Peppa,
God damn
or
it.
Chunky and Peepaw. And
I hate Peppa Pig. I'm just gonna go out and say it.
don't have a kid, never seen it.
Good for you, man.
I will read you a creepypasta next Halloween about Peppa Pig.
Pig.
Yeah. If that'll make you feel better. But they don't have the spark. Not yet, anyway. Badi is frustrated by that. But while Jin is off in the land, the village, roaming around, Badi has been left in charge of the farm. And Badi has encountered an interesting problem. He has seen Jin receive guests before at this point. And some rats come to the farm. They have apparently lost their former colony and they're looking for a new place. And the rats come, and at least one of them has the spark.
Okay, how do you get the spark, and what is the spark?
The spark is sentience, basically. When there are spirit beasts, and these are animals that have developed chi. And that's sort of what the spark is. It's unclear to me at this stage of my reading what causes the spark to develop, because Jin also doesn't know. Some of the animals get it, some of the animals don't. And when he figures out that it's happening, that animals keep turning into spirit beasts on his farm, he winds up having to give every animal he plans to eat an intelligence test before he can consume it.
Okay.
Yeah, and he realizes that because he was planning to eat the pigs, but the pigs do eventually develop the spark. And he's like, okay, well, I thought I had dinner, but now I have roommates. That's just as good, I guess. But the pigs are awesome.
So are the hens not?
The hens have not developed the spark, and that's actually a source of some conflict for Badi, because he really is longing for like a proper partner.
But he's not going to eat those hens, is he, Jin?
Jin, oh, he eats them.
Oh, he does?
He says he eats one before he fully realizes that Badi understands what he's doing. And the next time he goes to eat one, he does explain it to the animals that he was raising these for food, and he would never eat any of them that have developed the spark. This is an interesting thing for me, because I think I would have to be a vegetarian myself if I were in Jin's shoes right now. I think knowing that animals have the potential to be people does really change my ability to see animals as animals.
So are you trying to tell me that you don't think that way already, Ben? Because I'm calling PETA.
I do eat chicken.
You just got done eating
and I ate a hamburger wrap, yeah,
which is a sandwich, as we have defined. Yeah,
I will say I eat less meat now than I ever have before, and I wouldn't mind moving to. I don't think I could ever do vegan, but I wouldn't mind moving towards a vegetarian diet.
You disgust me, Ben.
I do have ethical problems with eating animals, but not, and this is like a no judgment thing. It's a personal thing for me. I don't really care what anybody else does, but
people for the ethical treatment
I don't like
animals.
I don't like PETA, but
I don't think other animal rights activists like PETA either.
No.
They're the animal rights activists that other animal rights activists do not want to be seen with.
No, I wouldn't mind going more vegetarian. The problem is like where my life is at right now and where I live. That's a hard commitment.
Whereas if I bought land and you moved down here to work a farm, easy.
If I had to slaughter the cow for that hamburger wrap,
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
I would not have had a hamburger wrap tonight. So I will acknowledge my hypocrisy there. And I'm not like, it's not like I don't know, but yeah, I was surprised he didn't wind up going vegetarian, but instead he explains to the animals that he's going to eat them, some of them sometimes, but never the ones that have become people.
I'm going to have you take this test. And if you don't understand what's on that page, I'm eating you.
There is a philosophical conundrum here. I chose not to examine it too closely. I think by and large, CasualFarmer is doing a pretty good job of being a morally sound isekai, which is somewhat rare.
Yeah, that's weird. We need to add in some scantily clad women that all want to knob him.
There is I wouldn't say she's scantily clad, but there is a buxom female character that comes in later.
But she's the villain because he already has a love interest.
No, she's actually
she's
totally,
a homewrecker.
No, she's totally cool.
Wow. 0 out of 10.
I think she's probably going to be the love interest for a side character.
Oh, she's going to transmogrify into a hen. Perfect.
So, now, funny you should mention that.
Oh, God.
Spirit beasts, so the rats, right? I was telling you?
Yeah. Those fuckers.
One of the rat discovers all these spirit herbs on this farm.
Uh-oh.
And the rat has I forget what it's described. It's a cauldron of some kind, or a furnace. That's what it is. It's a furnace of some kind that he can use by sacrificing the chi of the lesser rats. He can take the spirit herbs and turn them into spirit pills.
But I thought we were specifically avoiding pills, Ben.
So Badi never got, like, Jin still treats him like a pet. He doesn't realize the full extent of Badi's intelligence. And he hasn't really explained any of this to Badi. So though Badi is intelligent, he still is a chicken, and he still has been alive for like less than a year. And he doesn't know a lot about this shit. And he's trying to sort of figure it out just by watching. And this rat realizes that Badi is kind of powerful but dumb. And he starts saying, like, I could make you spirit pills. And the way this is going to work is I'm going to take your spirit herbs. You're going to let me, because you could kill me right now. And here's what you get in exchange. I make 2 pills, one for you, one for me. And we take them, and we both get way more powerful. And Badi's like, I do need to get more powerful to be able to protect. It's called a farm, but they make a point of, like, Jin speaks English to himself, but everybody else speaks Chinese. And that's why his English words sound so strange to them. So he calls it a farm, and they pronounce that as Faram. So Badi needs to become strong.
So wait, how does he communicate with these people? Does he know Chinese?
He knows Chinese because his previous life knew Chinese.
Oh, that's convenient.
He has all the memories of his previous life.
Yeah. This sounds like hell. Go on.
Speaking Chinese?
No, being trapped in a different body in a different time.
Yeah. It's not my fantasy.
Isekai torture for you, Ben. You wake up and you're in your 15-year-old body and you're reliving high school.
I would run that fucking place if I did that. No, imagine the horror of being a powerful martial artist and then waking up in my body.
There's your series, Ben. God damn it, this one can't even fly or shoot energy beams. What the fuck is this?
Oh, I could do you one better than that. Is like I struggle with, like, extensive cardio in general.
I was lifting weights and my fucking shoulder just tore out. What the fuck?
You better search my memories for that. You're going to want to watch that one. I'm also going to tell you the right ankle's not very good either. I rolled that playing volleyball in sandals.
Oh my god.
I did that a couple of years back. I will tell you this. The side of my foot, like my whatever you call that part with the arch
Yeah.
there, fully touched the inside of my leg.
Hurts me.
Yeah.
Oh god.
It has never been the same.
Yeah, you fucked your ankle up big style. Oh my god.
You want to know the best
Oh.
part? You want to know the best part? It was a stupid joke volleyball league for work. So I did it in front of all of my coworkers, and then I had to miss 2 days of work, and my manager, then another guy hurt his back doing it,
And they're like, we're done with volleyball.
My manager was like, "We need to stop the programmer volleyball league. It's not a good idea. It's a risk to all our projects."
Turns out we're not as fit as we think we are. What's
Did I ever tell you about the only programmer I know who got workers' comp?
Oh my god.
He came in during a snowstorm when the office was like technically closed. Nobody asked him to.
Don't do that.
And he slipped on the stairs going in. Didn't even make it in the building. He's the only broke his leg. Only programmer I know who ever got workers'
company
comp.
property.
Yep.
No,
I think they probably could have fought that because the building was technically like you didn't have to be there, but like I don't know, it was
they're probably just like, this guy's suffer enough already. He fucking destroyed his leg. He probably had to drive himself to the hospital after that, right?
Yeah. Fun thing, same project as the volleyball team. We had a lot of injuries on that project. So the spirit pill stuff starts happening. Now, it's funny because Badi notices, as one of the things with spirit pills in all Xian Xia stuff is you take them, but you also then have to like Bene Gesserit meditate to like absorb the poison.
Like how if you take steroids, you still have to work out. The spiritual version of that.
Yeah, the spiritual version of that.
Yeah.
So he's doing that. Badi's doing that. He's meditating and integrating the chi of the spirit pill into his own chi. And he notices there's some impurities in it. He doesn't think a lot about that. And then he takes like 50 more pills.
Yeah, you maybe should have stopped at the one that had the impurity. Is this on purpose? Is the rat the villain, Ben?
The rat's the villain.
Oh my god.
And
who would have thought, if you trusted a plague rat who kept sacrificing all of his friends, that he would do wrong to you?
But there is another rat. It's
Kill
a
him
lady
too.
rat. It's
Kill
a
her
lady
too.
rat. She's a good guy.
I don't believe you. Just because she's a lady?
She doesn't super like that he's killing all the other rats. She's pretty sure that this isn't going to end well, and she's trying to find some way to defeat his magic, some way to like help the rooster realize what's going on. And eventually the rooster realizes that the rats have taken way more than they were allowed to take. They're almost out of spirit herbs entirely. And he confronts the rat, and the rat is like, well, the jig is up. The rat then ascends to some kind of grotesque imitation of humanity. Like, it transforms into like some kind of man rat.
Okay.
And epic battle ensues. But as soon as, now the rooster could probably win this fight straight up, but those impurities. The rat manipulates the chi and causes the impurities to like expand in the rooster's body, and the rooster's in total agony. Now the little rat, she has sort of discovered a way to counteract that, and she's able to just barely get the rooster back on his feet, and it's an epic battle.
So Jin does not participate in this.
No, Jin is literally like hanging out with people in the village getting drunk.
Okay.
The pigs are fighting. They didn't have the spark. They're trying to they're trying to like stop the rats from going at the rooster. And one of the pigs, Chunky, takes a slash across the face that the rooster sees bone.
Oh.
And the rooster was like, shit. He's like, he hated the pigs because he thought they were dumb, gross animals. But now that he sees them fighting for him, he's like, oh my God, I fucked up. They're going to die for me. This is all terrible. And he has this whole big like anime moment where he takes out the rat, barely survives. They try to fix the pig up as best they can. The master comes back. Everybody is injured. Spirit herbs are depleted. And they do get everybody fixed up. Now the pigs have started to develop a spark. And Peepa is pretty smart. She's actually winds up being one of the smartest ones of all the animals.
Does she like jumping in muddy puddles?
Yeah, everybody does. But Chunky, he has suffered something from that injury. Whatever his spark was, he winds up going into like a bad state. Like it takes him a while to come back. It takes a while for that wound to heal. And he doesn't develop quite as quickly as the others. And I think they're going somewhere with this. Cause Chunky winds up being like the sweetest spirit beast.
Oh.
I love him. I would die for Chunky.
Okay.
He's amazing. And Peepa, it is funny. She considered, because it's funny because she is a pig. Chunky, as he gets stronger and as his chi develops more, he takes on the aspect of a boar. Like he grows tusks and hair and all that stuff. But Peepa never does. She considers herself a lady, and she's very like prim and proper and clean. And they consider themselves to be like married, Peepa and Chunky. And they're just cute. It's just cute. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, all I can hear is the Peppa Pig song.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, without going into the details of every single thing that happens, there's more hijinks, there's more animals. We wind up with, eventually there is, and I'm not doing justice to these extra animals. There's a cat named, he calls it Tigger, but the animals hear that as Tigu. There's the rat, the girl rat stays. She is called Rizzo. I don't know what that's from. There's an Italian restaurant I go to sometimes called Rizzo's, but I'm pretty sure he's never been there.
Wow, because he's Canadian. How dare you?
Yeah, probably, honestly.
Rizzo the rat is a Muppet character.
Oh, shit. Okay, there you go. That's what that is. They hear that as Rizu. Rizu eventually learns how to talk. She's the first one that can talk to the humans. And she can talk to the girl who is becoming Jin's wife.
That fucking went quickly.
Oh, yeah. By the end of the volume, they are married.
Oh.
That's how the volume ends.
Damn, that went fast.
He comments on that. It went fast back then. The volume takes place over the span of a year. So it starts in fall. We go through winter, spring, summer. They get married. That's sort of, or I think it starts in summer or spring. I don't know. But we go through a full year on the farm. And they do get married in the end. That's how the next volume starts like sort of after their wedding. She's integrating into the farm life. She is the daughter of I hesitate to say pharmacist, but like sort of the village healer.
And
He
he's
can
going to
make-
make you some pills.
She mostly makes practical medicines, not the chi pills.
That sounds
And
pretty practical.
and the rat, Rizu, she becomes the student of Maylin, the girlfriend.
No one finds out. Oh, okay, of her, not of her dad. Okay.
Yeah, Maylin teaches her medicine. The animals all call Maylin the Great Healing Sage. She's an okay healing sage in reality. But the other interesting thing that's happening is like everyone and everything that hangs out on this farm starts to develop chi. And we don't fully understand what's going on. So there is a little bit by the end of volume 1. There's a little bit going on with the theme of we give to the earth and the earth gives back. There's a hint that there might be some sort of like spirit of the land that was damaged somehow. And that's why this land is particularly bad at retaining chi. And that maybe he's through his activities healing the land a bit. And the land is literally giving back to him. I'm not sure where that's going. I did start reading volume 2. I liked it enough to read volume 2. I've been told it kind of drops off after maybe volume 3. I think this is going to be the interesting thing with the web novel stuff is, as we're sitting here talking about it on Words About Books and you're asking like, is it a book? Technically, yeah, you could buy this as a book. It is words on a page of a certain length that you can read, but it is a serial. And so I think it is eventually going to have maybe a kind of comic book problem. And from what I've heard, that's what it's starting to have, is that there's a lot of characters. There's a lot of animals that are sentient. They're fully fleshed characters.
This is pretty easy. You fire up the Thanos machine. You have Thanos come in. You start having him stomp some animals.
But there's animals. There's people, and there's just a lot of characters. And because it's this cozy thing, not a lot of people die, like you said.
Well, that's why you got to radically change the tone. It worked real well for CAD comics, so.
You need to do Beware of Chicken loss. Oh God. No. But that's what I've heard, is that the stories are getting longer, harder to tell, a lot of characters that need to be accounted for. He's already started to have like volume 3 and 4 are not complete. They're 2 parts of the same story, and it looks like volume 5 and 6 are probably going to be 2 parts of the same story. And because he's not writing them necessarily to be volumes, he's more compiling them to be volumes. I think it's going to start suffering under the weight of that a little bit.
I'm telling you, Thanos.
Well, I kind of wonder about that, because you do get to a certain point, like like any long running serial does, where you kind of need to reset.
Yeah. Crisis on Infinite Chickens.
I would read that. That doesn't sound awful on its face. I don't know if you could do a time skip. I don't know if you could have certain characters move on to other things and we check in with them more sporadically. It's an interesting problem. I think it's kind of the problem.
Beware of Chicken Endgame.
Well, I think it's kind of the problem any cozy series is going to wind up with, is when it's cozy, the conflicts are very low stakes. And so one of the things that's nice about a cozy story is it usually starts out with one wholesome character that you like building a community of other wholesome characters that you like. And that's what happened with Legends and Lattes. And then what do you do after that? And then Travis
write
Baldree,
a prequel.
Yeah, Travis Baldree had that problem where it's like you do that again.
And then you set up for a sequel that merges the two casts together.
Well, and the thing is, I don't hate it. It's not the sort of thing that I think I'm ever gonna like. I don't think I'm gonna get to, volume 4 and be like, oh, this sucks now. I'm just gonna get to volume 4 and be like, drop off. I'm just not going to be. I'm not going to be excited to turn the next page, and I'm just going to set it down, and I'm not going to pick it back up. And I think that that's the biggest risk this series has. And I don't know how you solve that problem. Nothing can go on forever.
You could just start writing mediocre stuff, and now you don't have the pressure of delivering. That's the Edenverse way, Ben. No one ever wanted us to do shit.
To be fair, no one knew we did anything in the first place.
Yeah. Checkmate.
This podcast has reached like orders of magnitude more people.
Yeah, it has.
And you know what the difference between this and that was?
This requires less talent. Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Literally, we just put it on Amazon. And we're like, and the cash is going to roll in.
So what you're saying is we need to market Edenverse.
I wouldn't do that now, but yeah, that would have helped then. Okay, I'm going to rubric this for you.
All right. Well, you gave it 5 stars, so it better be a 5-star rubric, Ben.
I thought about that. I imagined the rubric as I was doing it with my, what do they call it? My eidetic memory.
That was a theme for a long time with words about books. We didn't intend it.
For that D&D thing we're doing, I have been re-listening to a lot of words about books.
I think the mic quality starts to catch up around like mid-season 2.
The mic quality is whatever. It's not horrible.
Season 1 was rough.
Season 1 is rough, but it's listenable. It's not. I've heard worse. I'll put it that way.
That is sad, but yeah. Okay.
But what season 1 really lacks is restraint.
Editing down the episodes.
Yeah.
We didn't need to spend 3 episodes on the fold.
I have listened to 6 hours.
Yeah. It is longer probably than the fucking audiobook. Right?
I have listened to 6 hours of myself complaining about the fold, and I'm like, this is stupid. This was just way too much. No one can. I'm literally like commenting on every line of the fucking text. Like, less analysis has been done of the Bible than the fold. No, we needed help. Okay. So
it was the pandemic. I didn't really have anything else going for me. So,
I was on a plane. I read the fold on a plane. I get anxious on a plane. I had to be totally absorbed in something. So, and the weird thing is, I'm not anxious to fly. The worst thing that can happen when you fly is you fall out of the air and you die.
I would disagree. On the way, I believe, to Japan, we hit a weird type of turbulence where it felt like we were dropping and then catching.
Yeah, I've
for like 2 minutes. And I was like, can we just stop or can we just like die?
No, I'm fine with that.
This is awful.
I don't care about that. Because the turbulence doesn't bother me at all. I don't care about dying. When I'm anxious, like when I'm in a panic attack, come sweet death to me. But what's worse than dropping out of the air and dying is being stuck in an airport, unable to live or die.
And that's purgatory.
Yeah, that's what I fear. In the air, I'm good. I'm getting out of that one way or another. In an airport, I heard there was a guy who lived in an airport for like 20 years. Just die.
I think that guy had some sort of like a passport issue or something.
Words About Books rubric. Content and ideas for Beware of Chicken. I'm gonna risk a 5, and I say I'm gonna risk a 5, which is exceptionally original or interesting ideas, thoroughly developed, that had a lasting impact on the reader. I thought this was an interesting take on the isekai genre. I've seen things that have tried to do a wholesome take on the isekai genre before, but I think this one was a little bit more fun than some of those. I really like the Xian Xia stuff. I was surprised how much I wound up liking the rooster. I thought I don't like the title. I thought Beware of Rooster was a bad title for this. It comes from the fact that he eventually puts up a sign that says Beware of Rooster because his rooster can kill you. And he thinks that's really funny because, like, Beware of Dog makes sense because dogs are big enough teeth, but Beware of Rooster is funny. But, like,
Yeah, I watched Scrubs.
I don't know if that's the title of my book.
Ostrich. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, an ostrich is taller than me. Like, it's a dinosaur. Yeah, I'm fucking Beware of Ostrich. But where I say I risk a 5 is I don't know how original the ideas are. The wholesome, positive male role model, martial arts.
Yep,
farming,
5 out of 5 right there. Wholesome, positive male role model.
If I'm sure somebody else has done a lot of this before. I haven't seen it. Had a lasting impact on me. And I think it's a nice story that's worthy of a 5. Organization. This is where another one where I'm a little... The rubric is a little ill-suited to this because it's a serialized web novel. I think I'd like to say 4. I think it connects most of the plot points together in a way that is satisfying and understandable. Pacing feels appropriate to the plot. So far, that's true. Volume 1, that's true. Maybe Volume 4, that's not as true. We'll see. If I ever get that far, maybe I'll do a follow-up and let you know. Use of language. Again, I think I would say 4. It's engaging. It adds flavor. It plays a little bit with the differences between English and Chinese. The animal names are funny. There's a lot. I know. Okay, look, I know you don't like Peppa Pig. You're just going to have to live with that. But no, I think he did a pretty good job with the language. I would say he's doing something with it. And in terms of this like light novel stuff, again, he's got a little bit of an advantage in that this is the first light novel web serial kind of thing that I have read that was originally written in English by a native English speaker. So the bar for me here was again low. This is my first foray in Words About Books into this kind of thing. So if you think I'm overrating it, I think that's fair. Let me know. And especially let me know if you think there's something better, more original, earlier that I should check out.
Let Ben know that. I do not care.
You do not read.
Yeah.
Okay. Personal preference, 5. Loved it. Was surprised how much I loved it. Blew through it. Wound up taking extra walks just to go listening to it. And that's a good book. And recommendation strength, 5.
Wow.
Aside from the Xian Xia isekai stuff, this is it is rare that I recommend an isekai to a general audience because usually I don't want my friends to lose respect for me. I'm sorry, Isekai Sensei Sama, but the genre is riddled with problems. And I I don't recommend anime to people in general, actually, either. So, take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, this, I think I have seen the argument a lot on social media. Where are all the young male readers? Like, why have young boys and teenagers stopped reading? And like, this is a novel targeted specifically to them with a positive masculine role model. And I think it is a real contender for the YA space that is kind of dominated by girls. And I know there are men that read YA. I'm a man that reads YA, but I don't know. A lot of people have been talking about how it's hard to get their teenage boys to read, and I think this would do it. I think this is a lot of stuff they like. I think they would appreciate the humor, and I think it's got a positive message, unlike some of the other things I've seen. So, general audiences, I think, could get something out of this. And that is a total of what? 90. 90 out of
Wow.
100.
Wow.
Have I convinced you to read it, Nate?
No, absolutely not.
Not even to hear Travis Baldry's narration?
That sounds like a lot of work.
Does it?
Sounds like so much work. Because then, like, what are we going to do? Another episode on this?
I would have to read it for free.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I knew it probably wouldn't be your thing, but I wanted to talk about it on Words About Books because A, Kevin deserves it. This is my apology to all of Canada for our president.
For annexing you, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. So with that, we've come to the end of the episode.
Her patrons, Ben.
Who are our patrons?
The ones who did pay for that
Ones who
shout
did.
out. Unlike some people.
Like
Ben.
Kevin, who gets a whole episode. Look, recommend me a book I give 5 stars, and you'll get your own episode too.
Oh,
I warn you, though, it's very difficult. And Kevin did not know. I did not like isekai. Probably
Yeah,
because I don't
because you're on a podcast.
Yeah. But I don't. So it was an uphill battle. I did not think I was going to like this. I just listened to it because he had mentioned it enough, and he seemed to have a pretty good read on you know what does well on Words About Books. And so I was like, well, if he thinks so, I'll give it a shot. He was right. So if you can do that, let me know. So $10 Patreon shoutouts. Keegan, no project to shout out. Keegan's just cool. Spooky Shy with a Y, over on TikTok. John Bierce, author of The Rack, The Magerant, and More Gods Than Stars. Coming soon. I think it's out in February. I don't know if you could pre-order it. I do know that there are some chapter previews on his Patreon. And I will tell you, I have been reading it. So you should check that out. Then there is, of course, Isekai Sensei Sama, who has been listening to this episode furious, screeching at his car stereo as I bash the genre in which he got his PhD.
Him, yeah.
It's Dr. Isekai Sensei Sama here. Isha Sensei Sama. Oh God. But anyway, you could check him out on That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime podcast. He probably has a few thoughts about isekai that are wholesome that you
What
can
is
check
an
out.
isekai?
Don't
even?
ask him that. I don't. Ask him about a wholesome isekai you could check out. Don't ask him what is an isekai.
What even is it?
That's like asking me to give you the history of the Noldor.
Well, you got the Noldor. There's the Eldar. I don't know, and then there's
You're wrong.
the
So-
Seafoam people.
There are wow, that's actually pretty good. So then we have Jamie, the Gravy Man. He reviewed a book. He disagreed with me about Nosferatu. I didn't like it, by the way. I didn't like Robert Eggers.
Yeah, he
Nosferatu.
brought that up the last time I saw him. He was like, Ben didn't like this. I'm like, all right, I side with Ben. You're wrong.
Wow. Wow. Nothing can unite us so much as you not wanting to watch a 3-hour long horror movie. You get to see Dracula's Wang.
Yay? Good?
He goes into his coffin nude for some reason.
I mean, as you do.
Well, no, you don't. See, because nobody like you don't bury people nude. And also like
well,
he
maybe
wasn't
we should start, Ben.
Okay, but then even then he wasn't nude when he went down there. Like he got nude to get into the coffin.
Well, how else are you going to scare people? Like
By
come on.
being Dracula.
You pop out of that coffin and your dick's just hanging out.
Dude, it was. So first off, I found out, I researched this. It was a prosthetic. It was a prosthetic Wang. It was so important.
Researched it.
It was so important to Robert Eggers that you get a good shot of Count Orlok's Wang.
Count Orlok's?
Well, Count Orlok is the Nosferatu character. That's from the original.
Oh, I wonder if that's where Orlok's comes from in the Castlevania series.
There you go. So yeah, you had to see Count Orlok's Wang. So he had somebody sculpt a Wang.
That's important.
They slapped that on Bill Skarsgård.
That's important.
I'm told he's a genius. So sorry, Jamie. I'm rehashing this. I didn't want to see Count Orlok's Wang. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that's Jamie's shout out. That's what Jamie paid for. But Jamie's probably right. I've seen a lot of Red Letter Media liked it, so I guess I'm wrong.
Nah, he reviewed a book, so he's wrong. He's wrong by default. Next time you don't read a book.
Anyway, yeah. That's why you stick around till the end of the shout outs. There's always a little something extra in there for you. But with that, we are going to end this episode. We're going to land it flawless.
Bam.